Hi, you guys. Hopefully you can hear me. Everybody's sleeping, so I can't be too loud. So, I don't want to say I'm nervous, but the Lord gave me some dreams yesterday. He's been giving me more dreams lately. It tends to go in spurts. And last night he gave me 2. And I know I dream every night from him because often when I have a dream that I receive from the Lord, it's very common that I say, oh, that's right, I remember that, because sometimes he'll send me the same dream multiple times, probably until I remember it when I wake up. And sometimes that dream will relate to another dream which I had forgotten previously. So I don't ever share my dreams. A couple of days ago, the Lord told me that there were some pieces of dreams that I should share. So I kind of did a compilation of that in my blog, although I don't know that I made it very clear because I truly just don't ever share my dreams. So I had 2 dreams last night, and for whatever reason, the Lord is really putting in my spirit I need to share the one. I don't really understand why. I don't feel as though it pertains to everybody. I should say that. It pertains to more than just me, but I'm not really sure why I'm to share this dream specifically and not the other dream that I had or any of the hundreds of other dreams that I've had. So, whatever you do, whenever you hear this dream, pray about it. Like anything, whether someone's introducing scripture to you that you don't recall, or new doctrine that should be based from the Bible, or dreams or visions, anything that you hear ever, before you allow it to come into your spirit, you should always pray about it and wait for a response, wait for an answer, and then follow it from there. So I encourage you to do that, okay? So, I wrote my dream down, but usually I just journal my dreams so I can kind of just look over them whenever the Lord gives me another dream relating to it. I can just kind of read over them. So I don't know how much sense me reading it is going to make to you, so I'm going to do my best with it, okay? I named it the Red-Eyed Man, which is just easy for me to remember. So I'll go ahead and start it, and I'll try to kind of explain it as I go along, and I have no idea the relevance to you. So that's all I'm saying. I'm being obedient to the Lord and sharing this. So it starts off, and I'm trying to read it and explain it like at the same time. So I'm on a train and it has no engine, okay? So it looks like one of those old like steam trains kind of, where it has like a railing in front where you can kind of walk out into it, but it doesn't actually have like the engine. The entire train, every car looks like a caboose, okay? And it's black and it's like glossy, the whole train. And I'm at the end of the train, and like I said, it looks like a caboose. So it's not really at like the back, it's actually at the front. The part that's actually driving, that's actually where I'm at. And I lost where I'm at already. So this train immediately reminded me of the judgment rod, which I've had in a lot of my other dreams, and the Lord has told me. Some dreams I wake up immediately with the interpretation. Sometimes I have the interpretation in the dream. Sometimes I have to pray about it. Sometimes I have to fast. But this I know as soon as I saw it, that this is a train of judgment. And I know that because it is the same material as this judgment rod, which shows up frequently in other dreams that the Lord has given me. So this is a train of judgment, and I'm riding at the front of it. And it's like a passenger train, so there are sleeping areas. You know, you have the hallway down the center of the train, and then on both sides of the train, on the inside, are rooms where people sleep, but it's not traditional like you would think. They're like communal rooms, kind of. So there are no actual doors, no actual windows. There are like door slits, and there are like window slits. And inside all of the rooms, there are mattresses actually on the floor. So the floor is like almost made of mattresses, but there's enough room to get through. And there are like lots of colorful blankets and bedding and all that. And it looks really comfy. But the interesting thing is, my room was not communal at all. I had a private room, and it was at the very front of the train. So now I lost where I'm at again. See, I'm not good at explaining this as I'm trying to read along. So for whatever reason, I'm in my room, right? Sorry, I'm wearing what is that, Captain America? Yeah, Captain America Band-Aid. Having little boys, you know? So I am in this room, and I think I want to go to the rest of the train. But instead of walking down the hallway, I go out the front of the train, step out onto like the balcony area, and there's a conductor out there, and he's driving the train out there, but he's obviously guiding it spiritually because he doesn't have any means of steering. He's literally just standing out there on this balcony, and he's, you know, standing poised, and he's really watching, and he's making sure that everything on the train is going well. So I walk out there, and I head to my right, and I climb on the outside of the train onto like the next outer balcony of someone's room, and I like slip through the door slit, and I realize their door slit, and when I say door slit, like there weren't doors, and each door, this is when I realized each door slit is made for the people who are in that living space. So like my door slit fit me perfectly because it was made for me. But I was going into someone else's room, and it was not made for me, and I had to actually like squeeze sideways because the door slit was like this wide. So I had to squeeze in, and I got into the room, and there's nobody in there, but I can hear kids like laughing and talking. And I realized, oh, this must be an area for children. And truthfully, in the dream, I don't remember seeing any adults, okay? Aside from me, I was an adult in the dream. I don't remember hearing any adults with the exception of like me and like this one other person who I'll talk about them. So that's when I realized, oh, there are a lot of children on this train. Well, then I tried to get out of their door slit into the hallway, and I can't fit because it's made for children. And so I find another door slit and like barely fit through. And now I'm in the hallway of this train, and I look up the hallway, and my door slit is at the end of the hallway right there. And I thought, why didn't I just come that way? But if I had done that, I would not have learned that each door and each window is made for each person. And I would not have realized that this train is primarily, if not all, children, which I believe is vital to the dream. So, I go into the hallway, and I look around, I look up the hallway, I see my room, and wondered, you know, why didn't I just come down that way? And I look around, and I don't see anybody, but still I can hear children laughing and children talking. And then suddenly that fades away, and there's a little boy beside me who's maybe 8 years old. Maybe he wasn't real young, but young enough, you know, to be like really considered a child. And there's this little boy suddenly like right beside me, like at my hip, and he's wearing blue. And that's important because I have learned in the dreams that the Lord sends me that blue is significant as far as being chosen by the Lord, and also being revelatory in the Lord's insight, so being like prophetic, okay? So this little boy is wearing blue, and suddenly there's a man in front of us who's maybe just like a few yards like in front of us, like towards my room, where my room was. And I looked at him, and he looked like a normal man, maybe in like mid to late 30s. Like, it's hard to tell. I'm not good at telling age. So he was maybe mid to late 30s, and seemed like maybe he had like really light, like super short hair, like maybe he was really blonde or something, and he had brown eyes, and he just looked like your average guy, maybe 6 foot, I don't know, just average, okay? So I look at him, and this man is staring intently at this little boy. And then when I look back at this man, he has red eyes, like very red eyes, and he grows like these horns out of his head, and they come back almost like a crown, okay? So he looked like a crown of horns. And then he had this like deep guttural like growl. And through this dream, at no point did I actually have emotion, which is very common for me in dreams that are given to me from the Lord, because the Lord is just showing me something. I don't have emotional attachment. He often lets me feel the emotions and understand the emotions of other people within the dreams, but I have this understanding that these aren't my emotions, that this emotion is how that person is feeling. It's very difficult to explain, but if you've ever had a dream from the Lord, I'm sure you understand. So, and truly, I don't think it's that uncommon to have dreams from the Lord, because the Holy Spirit is pouring himself out on all of us right now. So, this man starts to change, and he had red eyes, and he had like this crown of horns, and he looked like he was suddenly very strong, whereas before he was just kind of like an average man, maybe 170 pounds, and then suddenly he was like strong and very like animal-like, and he was kind of like growling. So, and he was looking, still, I looked back at the man, and he had morphed, and then I looked back at the little boy, and this man was still staring intently at this little boy, and he was growling. The man was growling. And I'm just going to read some scripture. I have to actually flip into my Bible for it, though. But I knew immediately when I said, and what came into, like, I didn't say it, but like what came into my spirit was, this is the beast, okay? If you're familiar with Revelation at all, and I'm not, my dreams pertain to like many different things, but if you've watched any of my other videos, the Lord has been saying something's coming. So I guess this is it. So immediately, it came into my spirit, this is the beast. And if you go to Revelation 13, 1 through 2, chapter 13, verses 1 through 2, it says, "And I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast coming up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on its heads names of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like a leopard, and its feet were like the feet of a bear, and its mouth was as a lion's mouth. And the dragon gave its power to it, and its throne and great authority." Okay, so I know the imagery isn't exactly the same, but it was symbolically, that's what it was. This is the beast. This is the beast of Revelation. And I just knew it because the Holy Spirit made me to know it. So, like I said, this beast was growling and staring at this boy. And at that point, in the dream, I thought to myself, and this is kind of strange, I thought to myself, I need to stop watching this movie because it's going to make me have bad dreams. And that's when I realized, no, this is a dream from the Lord. And the Lord often does this in my dreams. He'll tell me or show me somehow that this is something that I need to remember, especially if I've had a bunch of dreams that I've forgotten. Okay. So, obviously I remembered this dream, and that's really why, because the Lord made me to understand, no, this isn't, you're not watching this, and this isn't a figment of your imagination. This is something you really need to pay attention to. So then that scene skips ahead, and suddenly I'm outside. And first, let me say, this train was not on Earth, okay? And this is going to sound very strange, but I'm going to explain it to you. This train was actually hovering outside the atmosphere of Earth. And so everything outside was black on this train, like everything outside was black. Because I guess it looks like outer space. And that sounds strange, but what it actually refers to, what it actually means in these dreams, is a reference to time. Okay, so it's not that we were going somewhere or to some place. It's that we were headed toward a time. Okay, which completely makes sense, because the Lord is saying something's coming, and it's not that we're here on Earth, we are suddenly changing places. He's saying that the judgment train is continuing on in time. Okay, so suddenly we're outside, we're not in the train anymore, me and this little boy, and we're on Earth. So the judgment train has arrived. The passengers are filing off, which I kind of only see in my peripheral in this dream. Because, of course, this beast is still in front of us, and this little boy, who I have no relation to in this dream, is still standing at my hip. And at this point, every time, it's hard to explain. The beast is looking at the boy, and I'm looking at the beast, and he's like looking through me in such a way that I realize I'm the little boy. Okay, so at that point when I was on the train and the little boy was with me at my hip, I was not actually part of the dream. I was actually a third party watching what was going on between the two of them. So I didn't realize this till I was outside, and the way that the dream was shown to me in such a way that the beast was like looking through me, and I could feel like this trembling from the little boy. Like I told you, I can feel the emotions even though I don't feel it. It made me realize I'm not actually in this dream as me right now. I'm actually the little boy. So that might sound really strange to you, but the Lord has told me many times, I can't even count how many times. I don't even know. I don't even know. Maybe 50 times. I mean, a lot of times the Lord has referred to me as a son of Korah. And you can look that up biblically if you want to. I'm not going to get into all that. But in either case, the Lord has referred to me as a son of Korah. Obviously, I'm a woman. And I'm married to a man. So like, there's nothing weird there. But this is how the Lord speaks. And when you look at the references to men in Revelation in the original text, it's before it was translated to English and all these other different languages, it doesn't just refer to men. It's like the same terminology as we would say like mankind. Like mankind is not just made of men, it's made of men and women. So for me to be like this little boy in this dream is not actually weird. Okay, so it's kind of normal for the Lord, because for him we're mankind. So at this point I'm this little boy, and the beast is still growling, and he's like hunched down on his heels. And again, if you go back to Revelation 13 that I read to you earlier, and it talks about, you know, basically it stands like an animal, like a bear, like a leopard, and all these different things. This guy is like at that point, like kind of like hunched down on his heels, like he's gonna pounce. And he's only maybe 4 yards away. And suddenly this man goes to leap at the boy, who would be me. And they had kind of been doing like a face off, and the boy's like waiting to see, is this beast going to get me? What is going to happen here? The boy was not going to run. He was just holding his ground, as scared as he was. And the beast was waiting for his moment to pounce. So suddenly this beast man goes to pounce, and this like black angelic figure shows up. Again, it's like cloaked like an angel, but completely black and glossy, that same glossiness that I saw in the train, that I see in the judgment rod and my other dreams. And this angel was tall, much taller than this man. And although you couldn't really see features because of the way that it was cloaked, it grabbed the beast man, grabbed his arm literally in midair right as it went to leap. So the beast never got the little boy. And I have to make sure I look at my notes of this because he yells something. Okay, so the man's arm, like where the angel had grabbed the man's arm, you know how I remember I told you he had like morphed into like something like big and strong. Where the angel had grabbed the man's arm, immediately the arm like withered and shrank back to an arm, like a man's arm, like what it had been before, just like an average guy's arm. And then that spread through his whole body, and the evilness had gone away from him. And although it was still there, he had some like humaneness returned to him, some goodness returned to him from the grab, the touch of this angel. And this angel, this angel's job was to restrain this beast. And so the beast's body like completely went back to normal. The horns went away, the eyes went away, everything. And the man cries out, the guy that had just been the beast, he cries out, no, because he wanted the boy. He wanted to devour the boy. He wanted to eat the boy. And I sensed, like I said, some goodness returned to this man once the angel had grabbed him. And this black, like glossy angel was like strangely tall and like overpowered him so easily. Like he hardly moved. He just like moved his arm. That's how strong he was comparatively. It was like effortless for him. And the man yelled, I thought there were no more of you left. Or I thought there were no more left, is what he yelled. That's what I have written down. I wrote this really early whenever the dream was like fresh in my mind. So the man yells, I thought there were no more left, referring to the angel who had restrained him. And the black glossy angel said, there are 9 of my brothers left, and will detain you till each is spent. Okay, I'm going to repeat that again. The angel says, there are 9 of my brothers left, and will detain you till each is spent. And I, knowing that each brother, that as each brother was defeated, they would never return to try again to restrain him. So like once they were defeated, once the beast defeated these restrainers, then they, that's one restrainer down, another down. Eventually it would get to 0. And eventually the beast would overthrow each one, and at which point the beast would return to eat the boy and devour the boy. A couple of things here. One thing I didn't address is, who is the boy? The boy is the man-child from Revelation 12. Okay, I think it's Revelation 12. Let's see if I can find it, because I didn't actually bookmark it. Revelation 12:4, and his tail, referring to the dragon, drew the third part of the stars of the heaven, and he throws them to the earth, and the dragon stood before the woman being about to bear, so that when she bears, he might devour her child. Okay, and the woman is the church. I don't know how much of this anybody knows. I wasn't planning on going into this, but the woman in Revelation 12 is the church. And the man-child is what is referred to in Revelation as the 144,000 who are Jews, but they're Messianic Jews. And that's when I say when it refers to a man-child, it's talking about mankind, a child of mankind, and not a child who is simply male when you look back at the original texts. So this is why I'm used to hearing from the Lord or seeing from the Lord that gender really doesn't play into like my roles whenever I'm having these dreams. So that is the man-child. The man-child is the 144,000. Just like in this, the man-child is the little boy. He was made as a little boy, so I understood, oh, that's a man-child. So I understood that. So the beast is coming to devour the man-child. And there are angels restraining the beast until the appropriate time, which was the same with Jesus. Whenever Jesus came and he died for us, he continued to say, it's not my time yet, and he would slip away because it wasn't his time, because the Lord appoints a time for all of us for his glory and for the betterment of the world. So the angels said, whenever the beast was, crying out, and he was saying, I thought there were no more of you left. And this angel says, there are 9 of my brothers left and will detain you till each is spent. So 9 of his brothers plus him is 10 of them. And I prayed about this and I thought about it all day today. But that is the one part that I didn't fully understand. I have like this comfort in my spirit that what I'm going to explain to you, I believe is probably what it is, but I haven't received confirmation. But I'm releasing this dream because the Lord told me to. So although I feel like it's premature because I don't fully understand it, I also don't understand why I'm releasing it. So it's not up to me. It is not for me to understand right this second, apparently. So once the beast overthrows each one, I have this understanding that the beast will return to devour the man-child, also known as the 144,000 in Revelation, the book of Revelation in the Bible. And I believe that these 10 brothers are all angels. The 7 angels from Revelation 8, there are 7 angels who blow trumpets of judgment, because remember I told you that black glossiness is judgment. And when these angels came, I had a sense, I had the discernment in my dream that they are good, but I also had a discernment in my dream to be mindful of them. Okay, they're not your huggy, cuddly, guardian type angels, okay? They're angels of judgment, and they're there for a purpose. All angels are, but these were kind of there for, they're part of the judgment. They're bringing judgment, okay? So they have to make sure that everything's happening and it's in its appointed time for this judgment, which also means restraining the beast until the appropriate time. So the 7 angels from Revelation 8, they blow the trumpets. I don't know how much of that you want me to read. Let's see, 7 angels. Okay, so the first angel trumpeted, and hail and fire mixed with blood occurred, and it was cast onto the earth, and the third part of the trees was burned down, and all green grass was burned down. And the second angel trumpeted, and as a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. And the third part of the creatures having souls died in the sea, and the third part of the ships was destroyed. The third angel trumpeted, and a great burning star like a lamp fell out of the heaven, and it fell onto the third part of the rivers and onto the springs of waters. The name of the star is said to be wormwood, and the third part of the waters became changed into wormwood, and many men died from the waters because they were bitter. I just need to drink a little bit of my water. Which is good because it's almost out. Okay. And the fourth angel, the third part of the sun, and so the fourth angel trumpeted, and the third part of the sun, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars were struck, that the third part of them might be darkened, and the third part of the day might not appear, and in the same way the night. And I know I'm going through this fast, but you can dive into your Bible and read it if you're really interested. If you don't have a Bible, you can also just Google it. Right now I'm in Revelation chapter 8. That's literally all you have to Google. It'll pop up, you click on it, you read the whole chapter, or read whatever pieces you want to. And the fifth angel trumpeted, and I saw a star out of the heaven falling onto the earth, and the key to the pit of the abyss was given to it. Okay, and he opened the pit of the abyss, and the smoke went up out of the pit like smoke of a great furnace. And the sun was darkened in the air by the smoke of the pit. Okay, and there's a bunch more with that, which I won't go into because it's very long. The sixth cherub is an angel. I'm reading out of a Hebraic Bible, so the wording is translated a little more directly. So, and the sixth cherub trumpeted, and I heard one voice out of the four horns of the golden altar before Elohim, which is God, saying to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, release the four angels, those having been bound at the great river Euphrates, and the four cherubs were released, those having been prepared for the hour and day and month and year, and they should kill the third part of men. And so what is that, the sixth one? And it goes on to talk about armies. I don't actually see the seventh one there. The rest of the men. I don't see the seventh one there, but obviously it's there because there are 7 trumpets from 7 angels. And then the next angels who are associated with judgment after that would be these 3 random angels I found in chapter 14 of Revelation, which is interesting because chapter 14, I think, talks about, again, the 144,000. I was telling you this is a dream about the 144,000. So Revelation chapter 14, verse 6, it says, and I saw another cherub flying in mid-heaven and with blood, having the everlasting good news to proclaim to those dwelling on the earth, even to every nation and tribe and language and people. And I think these are probably timelines, but I'm not really sure. That's probably like what's happening at that point. And then same chapter, verse 8, and another cherub followed, saying, the great city Babylon has fallen because the wine of the anger of her fornication she made all nations to drink. And for those of you who don't know, and I had no idea until I received a whole lot of dreams and did a whole lot of prayer, and then all of a sudden, I had this epiphany. Babylon is the United States. Crazy but true. And I really didn't think it was. I thought maybe it was like the Vatican Church or something, but the Lord made sure that I understood that was not the case. I really had no idea. So that's basically talking about the fall of the United States. And a third cherub followed them. So this is the third angel. So we're up to 7, 8, 9. Remember, we need 10 angels. So the 10th angel from this dream, that I believe it is, and a third cherub followed them, saying in a great voice, if anyone worships the beast and its image and receives a mark on his forehead or in his hand, he also shall drink of the wine of the anger of Yahweh, which is God, having been mixed and diluted in the cup of his wrath. So those are the other 3 angels who are associated with judgment. And in my dream, I was shown that all these angels look the same, so I know that they are all angels of judgment. And so that's 10. Now, like I said, I'm still praying about it, still waiting for confirmation, but the Lord told me to release the dream, so that's what I'm doing. So everything that I say if it speaks true to your heart, I kindly ask you to pray on it, seek revelation about it, fast on it if you want to, however it strikes you, however you feel convicted to do it, you should do that. And look and, follow scripture, of course. So, I also believe that it is those angels too, because immediately after those 3 angels, it says, here is the patience of the sanctified ones. Here are the ones keeping the commandments of Yahweh, which is God, and the faith of Yeshua, who is Jesus, okay? And this is verbatim, exactly the same as Revelation 12:17. So Revelation 12:17 and Revelation 14:12 are verbatim the same thing. And both, the other one in Revelation 12:17 is referring to the 144,000. And this I wasn't originally sure, and then I realized, it's in context of chapter 14, which is about the 144,000. And when the Lord told me about the 10 angels of judgment in this dream, and it brought me to these 3 angels of judgment immediately following that, is this verbatim passage from the 144,000. So if you don't know, the 144,000 bear spiritual seals on their foreheads, which humans cannot see. So they bear the mark of their God, and it protects them from all of these judgments that fall on the earth. It doesn't mean that they don't go through trials. It doesn't mean that things aren't difficult for them, because they have a job to do. They're there for a reason. They're preaching the gospel when, Christians are being oppressed and persecuted and driven out. But they bear the seals. But as this dream indicated, there comes a time that the beast will overcome the restrainers, and he will be able to come for the man-child, who is the 144,000. And that's what the Lord is showing me. And this is something that I had prayed about. And this is one of the reasons why I really wasn't sure why I was supposed to release this dream. Because I had prayed, do the 144,000 suffer martyrdom? And I believe this answer is yes. Maybe not all of them. Because even though it says, here's the patience of the sanctified ones, talking about the 144,000. It says, I heard a voice out of heaven saying to me, this is chapter 14, verse 13. And I heard a voice out of heaven saying to me, write. So write this. Blessed are the dead, the ones departing in the Master from now on. Talking about Yahweh or Yeshua. Yes, says the Spirit, they shall rest from their labors and their works shall follow them. And that's referring to the 144,000. So at that point, the dream is showing me that at this point, the 144,000 become martyrs. But because it says, blessed are the dead, the ones departing in the Master from now on, it doesn't say that they're all annihilated, but basically, their time is up. And immediately after that, the very next verse, 14, it says, and I saw and behold a white cloud, and on the cloud one sitting like the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. That's Jesus. So the 144,000, literally in this dream, the 144,000 have a face-off with the beast. Right as the beast is about to strike, the restrainers step in. As things continue on through the tribulation, the beast will basically beat out the restrainers and come back from the man-child, who is the 144,000, and do whatever it is that he's going to do to them. And immediately after that, Jesus returns, or in the midst of that, Jesus returns. So that's a dream in a nutshell. Another thing that I found interesting about this dream was that, everyone's always asking timeline, when is Jesus going to come, and when is that going to happen, and this going to happen, and all these different things. And of course I pray that sometimes too, just because the Lord has guided me, and I've had so many dreams, and you really do start to wonder, okay, Lord, you've shown me all these things. When is this going to happen? But he showed me the judgment train arrives with the beast. So the two come hand in hand. It's not the beast shows up and then because of the things that the beast is doing, the judgment comes after that, and the judgment starts and the beast comes after that. They come together. The train stops. Both the beast of Revelation and the 144,000 who are riding the judgment train, because they both have a hand in it, depart from the train at the same time. So the judgment, the 144,000, and the beast all arrive at the same time. That is the biggest thing that I really got from this dream as far as timing goes. There was something else I was going to say, now I can't remember what it was. What was I going to say? I told you the whole dream, so you can look into it more. If you have questions, you can let me know. And I'm not really looking for judgment or people to say whatever it is they're going to say. Like I said, I don't ever share my dreams. I'm just doing this out of obedience. And you should always pray. Always pray before you let anything into your spirit. Anything. Hey, that even goes for opinions about people and that kind of stuff. Anything you let into your spirit and sit and simmer, you should be praying about it. And I'm definitely not perfect. Like, some days I have attitude. I have attitude some days because things just don't sit right in my spirit and I'm struggling with them. So, what are you going to do? What else was I going to say, though? Oh, well, it'll probably come to me once I end the video. And I hope you all stay strong in the faith. If you have questions, let me know. If you like the video, I would appreciate a like, and I just say that for the sake of encouragement, because the Lord tells me to do something, I do something out of obedience. So I would appreciate the encouragement, I should say. All right, well, I hope that you guys all stay strong in the faith and take this to prayer. All right, take care.